getting it every day. I don't know what that is. Oh, hey. How you doing, everybody? What's happening, Jets fans? Yeah, you're getting a window in to a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes. How do I cope with all the losing and the bombardment of negative press? Well, I make songs about it. I cry. Things like that. By the time I get to you guys, I'm good. I'm rocking and rolling, man. This is episode 36 of Greenbeanjetsfan, and I couldn't be happier that you're here. I couldn't be happier with where we are in the 2021 season. We are in the midst of the final week. The final week before it all begins. Before it all begins. Before we know whether or not this crazy experiment that is the 2021 Jets is going to be positive or negative. Is it going to be competitive or a laughingstock? We don't know. We have all kinds of ideas. We have all kinds of hopes. We have all kinds of dreams. We have ideas. We have thoughts. But what is it? What's it going to be? What is it going to be this year, Jets fans? I'm going to tell you right now. I think it's going to be better than we're used to. That's what I think. I'll get into why. But don't forget, you can follow me right at Instagram and Twitter. I'm on there all the time. I'm making memes. I'm putting up pictures. I'm showing you stuff on Instagram, and on Twitter I'm arguing with everybody about Jabari Zuniga or whatever else. That's how it goes. I'm on Jetnation. You can find me there. My name is GreenBean. But you can follow me, GreenBeanjetsfan, on Instagram and Beanjetsfan on Twitter. And you can also go really easily right from where you are right now, right over to Full-Time Coaster Tour on YouTube, and you'll find all my other happenings. I'm out here with my wife and kids, living in an RV, trying to get on every roller coaster in the country, and we're about a third of the way through all the coasters. We've been all over the place, man, and it's really cool, and I think you'd like it. Go over there, give me a sub there, but the easiest thing you can do is just hit this like button right under this video and hit the subscribe button right here on Greenbeanjetsfan's YouTube page. So, with that all being said, I'm in a good mood. I am. I'm psyched. We now know pretty much what our roster is going to look like, and I'm going to tell you, man, it's different than we thought it might be. Now, a lot of guys are, look, we know Connor McGovern's going to be starting at center for us. We know Mekhi Becton's going to be the left tackle. We know Corey Davis is going to be a starting wide receiver. We know these things. We know Zach Wilson is going to be our quarterback this year. We also know that C.J. Mosley is going to start at middle linebacker. We know Quinnen Williams is going to be our 3 technique this year. That's barring injuries, of course, because half those people I just mentioned are struggling with injuries. That seems to be the theme of this camp. Lots of excitement, but injuries have kind of derailed a lot of what our plans were. And look, Robert Saleh is going to learn. When you're in Florham Park, when you're on One Jets Drive, and you're the coach of the New York Jets, you don't talk about stuff like we look forward to adversity. You don't do that here. You don't do it. You know why you don't do it? Because the curse will respond and give it to you. You like it? You want adversity? Here's this. How's this look? I'm going to take your premier free agent, the guy that your whole defense is kind of depending on, we're learning, right? We knew that he was important. We didn't know just how important. We had an idea. We're going to take Carl Lawson and take him for the year. Oh, you thought we were done? No. We're also going to take the other guy that you brought in to play that edge position. We're going to take Vinny Curry for the year as well. I know, it's tough. Well, that's what the curse does. But here's more. We're going to take the starting strong side linebacker that you brought in, that he was going to have a resurgence. Jared Davis, gone. You don't like that? Well, too bad. And that's the kind of things that happen around here. So we have all kinds of stuff. Mekhi Becton and AVT start talking about being the Smash Brothers. Do you realize they've had a grand total of 2 practices together since that day? Maybe a couple more practice. We haven't seen them together in one preseason game. Remember? Smash Bros. Remember how great it was? They were being compared to Kobe and Shaq or Jordan and Pippen. Remember? We don't talk like that here. So we calmed it down a little bit. Have you noticed the past few weeks? We're not talking about how much we love adversity anymore. Good, you're learning. We're not talking about Smash Brothers and labeling our wide receiver core the Hap Skiddly-Doos. We're not calling them nothing. You want to know why? Because it's a jinx, and we don't do that for the New York Jets. Do that in Chicago. Do that in New England. Do that for Baltimore or Pittsburgh. That's where you talk crap like that. But you notice they don't do that. Why? Because they don't want it. They don't want to give birth to some curse, man. So here's where we are. We trimmed our roster to 53, which means that we cut just about 27 players, and there was some cuts, and there was some bringing them backs, and there was some practice squads, and there were some IRs, and there are a few surprises. There are. I'd say the two biggest surprises were the trade of Chris Herndon, although I've been saying that literally all offseason, that the Jets are trying to showcase Chris Herndon so they can shop him. Did I not say that? Did I not say it 20, 30 times? Yeah, of course. Now, I was wrong on everything else, so that's right. That's why I'm talking about this one. I gotta talk about something. So, I mean, I wasn't wrong on everything. I mean, I had the large meat of the roster together. I mean, it's not hard to do. You know, like we know Zach Wilson, we know Connor McGovern, we know all that sort of stuff. We know stuff. But it's the back end. It gets a little bit more tricky, doesn't it? And when they trade a guy like Chris Herndon and then cut their other three tight ends, we cut 3 and traded 1, leaving 1 on the roster, not mentioning Wesco. So it got interesting. Now, we ultimately signed Ryan Griffin and Daniel Brown back, and we signed Kenny Yeboah to the practice squad, which is great. Now, I wanted him on the roster. I did. I predicted him to be on the roster, but I knew it was a long shot. I just wanted to put that in the stratosphere, man. Put it into the ether. Let's get it out there. But he's back. Let's let him groom in our program, with our coaches, with our team, and let's see where it goes. In the event Ryan Griffin or whoever else gets hurt, more than likely they'll bump him up, and then we'll see that. And I'm not rooting for that either. I'd love everybody to stay healthy. So Chris Herndon gets traded to the Minnesota Vikings, which is interesting. We've been doing a lot with them of late. If you recall, the Minnesota Vikings are the team that we traded our 23rd overall pick and our 2 third-round picks to move up to 14 to grab AVT and their pick 109, a 4th-round pick. So we gave them a first and 2 thirds for a first and a 4th. That was the Vikings. And now here we are again, trading Chris Herndon for a 4th-round pick. Well, we traded Chris Herndon and a 6th-round pick for Minnesota's 4th-round pick. So we used Chris Herndon to take that 6th and bump it up 2 rounds. Not bad. Not bad. I didn't think he was going to get that kind of value, especially after his preseason performance. He didn't look good, man. Now, Chris Herndon has always been a slightly above average blocker. He's good. He's not great. He's not devastating, but he's a good blocker. Solid. But the thing is, Chris Herndon is supposed to be a pass-catching tight end. He's supposed to have that ability to be the safety valve for the quarterback. And even in addition to that, he's supposed to be able to kind of be a factor in the passing game. He hasn't been able to do that with us. Now, for him, good. Go up there. Maybe it's a fresh start. You know how that stuff goes. Fresh start can mean the world for somebody. From our perspective, I think it's more like Joe Douglas has been here for 2 years, 2 seasons really, and he watched Chris Herndon be about as dependable as a frog crossing the street. You know, frogs. So Chris Herndon could not be relied upon. We obviously had the injuries, right? He's had more than one injury. He's been suspended. And then last year he was healthy and he had a case of the drops, hardcore. So the end of the season he came around a little bit, and that's nice. But I think Joe Douglas was like, look, I'm not going to depend on this guy anymore. So he sent him over to the Vikings, got some more draft capital, kind of using this stuff to bump up and get more of that front end draft capital. So we have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 1 third, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and a 6th. That's what we're looking at right now. It's not a bad look. The other big surprise was definitely Blesson Austin. Now, you might not like Blesson Austin. You might not think all that much of him. But I don't think anybody at this late juncture was thinking that we were just going to straight out cut him. It came out of nowhere. All right, it came out of nowhere. Now, when you look at especially the young aspect of who it is that we have outside of Blesson Austin on the team, it looked like they would keep him if merely for experience alone. Okay, he's got some NFL starting experience with the Jets, so it was like, okay, and he's had his moments. He has. So who knows? But I thought it was going to be difficult to imagine Blesson Austin not at least starting the season opposite Bryce Hall, and it came out of nowhere. They just cut him. And you saw there was quite a little backlash. Quite a little backlash. Some people even went as far as to be upset. One specific journalist that we have, literally after the Blesson Austin cut, he said he changed his prediction for the Jets to beat Carolina week 1 to the Jets are going to lose to Carolina week 1. All on Blesson Austin. Crazy. Crazy. So here's the thing. When you look at those two surprises, we have Chris Herndon getting cut, or traded, from the offense. You have Blesson Austin being cut from the defense, leaving 3 rookies and 2 second-year players outside of Justin Hardy on the team. Dude, that's crazy. And 2 of them are undrafted free agents. The highest pick is a 4th. Even Bryce Hall was a 5th. So we have a collection of 4th, 5th, 6th rounders and undrafted free agents literally manning our defensive backfield. It's incredible. It's incredible. Now, the good news, let's put this on the scale, okay? The good news is that this coaching staff, number one, believes in their ability to develop people. Our defensive backs coach, Odin, is impressive, man. A very impressive man. So they're saying that him and Ulbricht and Solid, they can develop these guys. Number 2, we drafted these guys to play. I mean, what a novel idea. What an amazing thing. We picked players in the draft, and here's what we're going to do with them. We're going to put them on the NFL field. Isn't it crazy? This is not what we're used to. Usually we pick guys and they sit on our roster for 4 years and then they're cut. We are going to find out right now. This is an evaluation year. We've been saying it for months. Months. This is the year that we're going to find out which positions are manned properly, which guys are worth developing, and which guys need to go. Which guys need to go. And we're going to do this now. We want to know how to use our 10 picks next year. We want to know how to use our 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 fourths, 2 fifths. We want to know what positions we actually need to spend this capital on. And by that time, these guys are going to have a full season playing together. Who's going to start at cornerback beside Bryce Hall? Is it going to be Brandon Eccles? That's who it looks like. Maybe it's Jason Pinnock. Maybe it's Isaiah Dunn. I don't know. I don't know. It's probably going to be Brandon Eccles. But let me tell you this. If these guys are worth a damn, even Bryce Hall. Let's say Bryce Hall, Javelin Guidry, Brandon Eccles are the starters. Michael Carter II and Jason Pinnock come off the bench. And Isaiah Dunn's kind of dime package boy. Right? So let's say that's what it is. Let's say they're worth a damn. These guys are going to be together for 4 or 5 years. Together. With the coaching staff. We have not seen that in forever. Since like Nick Mangold, DeBrickashaw Ferguson days. We have changed quarterbacks, wide receiver, 2 years most, man. That's what we do. Every 2 years, we are flipping the roster, bringing in a whole new bunch of people, trying to have them gel. Doesn't work. Think about it on the offense. If Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, AVT, Becton, Michael Carter II, let's say these guys are actually good, like good. Think of how long they're going to be together. They're going to be able to communicate telepathically. By the time this is all said and done, we're going to have guys on the field who know exactly where the other guy is going to be, exactly how they're going to react. They know what they can do, what they can't do, where people need help. They're going to know the defense. Why waste time on doing that, on getting that process going for a guy like Blesson Austin, with all due respect? Again, he's had his moments. Talented young man. He was given all offseason, all preseason to shine, to outshine one of these younger guys. He didn't do it from their perspective. He didn't do it. Is Blesson Austin and whatever he brings to the team so good that it's worth not getting this process started? And they said no. So we could look at this as exciting. So exciting, man. We actually drafted players and we're going to see them play. We're going to use them. Our coaching staff is going to develop young talent. Now remember, everybody that Joe Douglas and subsequently Robert Saleh and the like, everybody else, the model of player that they're bringing in, hardworking, drama-free, blue-collar, team captains, leaders, those types of guys. So when you look at this process, that's the types of players that you can do this with. We don't have a bunch of Jamal Adams, a bunch of Trumaine Johnsons running around trying to make sure that you see them. Look at me, look at me. Now what's the negative? The negative is this. We just drafted a bunch of late round picks and we're going to start them versus legitimate, actual NFL starters. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. You know what we're going to probably be seeing? A whole bunch of mistakes. A whole bunch. A whole bunch of what we label growing pains. Development means that it's undeveloped. Right? So we need to adjust. We need to really work on our mindset here, our frame of reference for what we're rooting for. Because let me tell you, you cannot judge a work in progress midway through. You can't judge a souffle by its first 3 minutes in the oven. Look at this thing. It's all liquid. Sucks. You can't do that. You know, you can't judge a cake before it's baked. It's just that simple. And it's not even a half-baked cake, man. Now, the goal would be that midway through the season, we're starting to really see something. Maybe we can squeak out a few wins to keep our head above water while we develop. That's what we're going to try to do. Hopefully the offense can score some points. But guess what? We got a whole batch of development going on over there. This offensive line has never played together before. And if you look at the preseason, they didn't even get that. AVT was hurt. Becton was hurt. They've been starting different guys on the offensive line since the word go. We have not seen our starting offensive line. We have not seen them play together yet. Now, in practice, sure. A couple practice days. It's great. Elijah Moore, everybody's talking about him winning Rookie of the Year. You know what he's got to do first? He's got to play. He's got to play, man. Now, I'm just as high on Elijah Moore as anybody else. But we intend to have a whole bunch of youngsters on the offensive side of the ball, too. It's the same thought process. It's the same thought process, man. It's like we have a rookie quarterback, a rookie left guard, standing next to a second-year left tackle, brand new offensive system, whole different blocking schemes and all that sort of stuff. We got a new right tackle. And Morgan Moses wasn't even on the Jets when we started this whole mini camp and all. He wasn't even here. He was doing the tour, the free agent tour. So, then we have rookie running back, We have Denzel Mims, second year. You know, we got Corey Davis and Keelan Cole. Those are our vets. Got a tight end who's brand new to the team. A bunch of other tight ends that can't stay healthy for anything. So what is it? You know, what are we rooting for here? What do we really want? Well, I'm going to tell you the final Thursday thick of it before the season, which is this coming Thursday, 9 p.m. on my channel live stream on Greenbeanjetsfan on YouTube. We're going to do our final season prediction, and we're going to factor in all this stuff. It's going to take us hours. It's going to be great. But I'm telling you right now, what we were predicting early with Carl Lawson, Vinny Curry, Jared Davis, AVT and Becton together, maybe even a cornerback that has more than 45 minutes in the NFL, those types of things. So we're going to have to adjust a little bit, I imagine. But guys, here's the thing. If you're going to have an evaluation year, use the guys you want to evaluate. I think it makes perfect sense. It's scary as hell. It is scary, man. I root for a football team that never wins. So, that's what we're going to watch, guys. Me personally, I have found it in here. I found it. I found the location of the place I needed to get to access, to make this the most exciting damn thing I can think of. And all we got to do, week one, in my opinion, all we have to do is get to Sam Darnold. That's it. The good news is they have offensive line questions. The bad news is the guys we were really counting on to provide pressure aren't there. So, it's kind of been equalized, neutralized, if you will. So I just need to get to Sam Darnold so we can squeak out a win. I don't know if I could stomach Sam Darnold throwing for 380 and 4 touchdowns. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I can handle it. Unless Zach Wilson throws for 600. You know what I mean? Or 420. I don't care. It's got to be better. Now, I know I shouldn't say that. It's not about that. It's an evaluation year. But this one game needs to be that way. Do you understand, Jets? Like they like to talk about the balance of, the urgency of the fans and the long-term goal and everything Salah said this week. I get it, man. You can't sacrifice the long-term goal for the immediate, pick me up. Yep, I'm with you. You still got to beat Sam Darnold. Got to do it. I don't care. Start week 2 with all this long-term crap. You go out there and you destroy this Carolina Panthers team, okay? I don't care. You don't let them pass. You don't let them throw. You rattle them. You rattle them like we've seen him rattled. Once he gets rattled, he can't do anything. And he's going to be throwing against cornerbacks who've literally never played in the NFL before. It's a recipe. Just find it. Find the place. Find your blankie. Because it could be rough, guys. It could. So, it's surprising. Let's talk about some other surprises. Look, I'm going to tell you, most of what we saw was expected. Most of what we saw was expected. But there were some surprises. Here's one. Daniel Brown made it to the active 53, especially after his preseason, which was not very good. His last game, he had the fumbles, he had the drops. He didn't look good. So why did he make the active 53? Surprising. You want to know why? Because he's a big cog in what Brant Boyer's doing on our special teams. He's good. He's a special teamer. 3rd/4th tight end with Wesco, even Fant. He might never play tight end for us, but he's vital to the special teams. Very similar to Justin Hardy at our cornerback room. He's the one guy with 5 years experience, but we're not even going to let him play cornerback. Why? Because we're evaluating young guys, and that's not what he's here for. He's here to play special teams. That's just his position, emergency style. So that's why Daniel Brown made it. Daniel Brown made it on the team for special teams. That's why. And when you look at it through that lens, it's like, okay, I get it. Brant Boyer's got to have his dudes. He's got to have some people. And if they don't factor into the offense or defense where their position is, sometimes it's going to happen. The guy's too important. From what I understand, what I've gathered, is he's important to Brant Boyer. So we need him. There you go. Kenny Yeboah to the practice squad. I get it. Surprising, though, nonetheless. How about Tevin Coleman? A lot of people were putting Pirine and Josh Adams, pitted against each other. I didn't see it that way. I think young running backs, you want to keep them around. But Tevin Coleman, they didn't bring him in here to cut him. So it's weird. Like, this is what I think. And I'm not rooting for this kind of stuff. This is his third stop with LaFleur. Third place. He had Atlanta, you got San Fran, and now you got the New York Jets. They brought him in here because they know exactly what his skill set is and exactly what he can bring and add to the offense. But here's the very real potential. Is that he's more than likely not going to make it the whole season. Now, I don't know where that comes into play, and I'm certainly not rooting for it. I'm not. But it's having that realistic outlook. And Josh Adams is sitting right there. He will more than likely be brought up to the 53 if he's not poached at some point. It's one of those things. Pirine, don't forget, the first 2 weeks of preseason, everybody was saying, holy cow, I had Pirine wrong. Then he didn't play he didn't play in the last game. Josh Adams, everybody forgets. Pirine's good. Pirine's a good running back. You want him on your team. End of story. Leave it there. Okay? That's where it is. So I'm not surprised by that, but I am a little surprised that it's like I'd rather have the young running backs. I get it with the Tevin Coleman, but I was still kind of holding out a little hope that we would just have the 4 young bucks. So what about Isaiah Dunn? Isaiah Dunn had a pretty rough preseason. I thought he was going to be practice squad at best. Honestly. I know they think highly of him. I get it. He made the final 53. It's incredible. So, again, it just goes to show you they're keeping their young players right next to them on the field. They want to develop them. Now, we only have one cornerback on the practice squad. Only one. And in my opinion, he's probably going to move over to safety at some point. They already had him listed as the third safety behind the first and second string, and that's Lamar Jackson. So I think Lamar Jackson is in a transitional period. He had a play or two, but he also got burned a little bit. Lamar Jackson has some developing to do. We knew that when we brought him on, but I think he might be going more towards safety. But that said, they don't have cornerbacks on the practice squad. All of the cornerbacks they want on this roster are on the 53. And that, to me, is surprising. I didn't see that. I didn't see it coming. And I thought Isaiah Dunn, with all of his potential, was going to be on the practice squad. But he's on the 53, so that surprised me. How about Chuma Edoga? We didn't hear a whiff. Now, generally speaking, you wouldn't hear a whiff anyway. You would smell a whiff. You didn't catch a whiff. We didn't hear a whiff, and I'm thinking wiffle ball. That's what I'm thinking. We didn't catch a whiff of Chuma Edoga through the entire offseason, preseason, nothing. What does that mean? Well, for an offensive lineman, if you're not hearing his name, it could mean he's doing well, right? He's not getting beat. But here's the thing. Now, I was surprised that they kept Chuma Edoga maybe over, another couple other guys. But when it comes down to it, I did have a feeling Connor McDermott was going to go to IR. And here's the thing with Chuma Edoga. He's got NFL experience. He can play both tackle positions. He has also played center before. And he can play guard. He's about the most versatile guy on our line. So while he might not be great at any of them, having a second string of guys that are versatile and can play, he can play. He's played in the NFL, started really well, had a rough go later when they moved him from right tackle to left tackle. He probably shouldn't be on the left side. Probably. That all said, he can play it. So keeping a guy like Chuma Edoga around, who quite frankly is still developing, young guy, brand new coaching staff, brand new blocking scheme. They might love him for all we know. But even that aside, the guy has value. He has value. He can play 4 positions on the offensive line. 4. That's all of them. So I thought I was looking for guys like Jimmy Murray maybe to take that spot, with Fant being able to also play swing tackle. I just thought that maybe Chumo might get pushed off, but he didn't. Jimmy Murray's on the practice squad. Corey Levin got claimed on waivers. We put Connor McDermott on IR, so it's nice to be able to know we got vets on the back end. So look, and I'll lead that right into the next guy that was kind of surprising. Especially surprising to a lot. I knew Danny Feeny was going to make the roster, but I think it's still surprising that he did to a lot of people. We saw him; he got his butt kicked a lot in the preseason. But here's the thing: the guy has started for an NFL team for an entire season, so he's got starting experience. He wasn't all that great, but he's played he's an NFL guard. You're not going to have all-stars on your back line. It's not real. So having experience, he can play center, he can play guard, another one with versatility, and here's the other truth of it. He's owed $3 million guaranteed. So there's that. Now, I think if one of the young guys blew him out of the water, just played so good you couldn't deny it, I think that $1.5 million that's left on his contract that he's guaranteed, I don't think that would be enough to keep him over that guy, but nobody did that. They looked promising, but that's it. So having that experience, a guy that can play center and guard and has started in the NFL, dude, that's what you want. That's what you can expect for reserve offensive linemen. So I think it's good. Ryan Griffin, another one. With his injury, I just didn't know if he'd make it, at least to the active roster, but he did. He's our tight end number 2. So I like Ryan Griffin. I happen to know that Joe Douglas likes Ryan Griffin, so maybe the injury's not as bad as it, maybe it's not going to keep him out, and that'd be great. But Croft, Griffin, Brown, it's an interesting tight end room. So, who do we got? Jonathan Marshall was a little bit surprising. I just didn't know if he'd make it. He showed up in the preseason a little bit early, but he didn't have the best back end of the preseason. He was looked a little bit lost at times. So I think it was just a guy that I thought might be pushed down in the practice squad. Clearly that didn't happen because he's on the 53, and I found that slightly surprising. I think it just boils down to they didn't want to expose him. He's got enough potential. He's got enough, he's got enough potential that they want to keep him on. They don't want to lose him. They don't want to expose him and risk him to the waiver wire because somebody might snatch him. So I think that's just one of those decisions that they made. Nathan Shepard, I thought he might get pushed off, but then we saw Ronald Blair go to the practice squad. So I thought Nathan Shepard might be pushed over to the practice squad. I thought it was very possible. So I wouldn't call it it didn't blow me away or anything, but it was okay. They're trying to keep as much vet leadership as they can on there with the little dinged up Ronald Blair. They just thought, hey, we're going to keep him up there. I thought maybe like a Rashid, even though they're two different positions, I just thought that the defensive line depth might go that way, but they pushed him to the practice squad. So all in all, we kept 9 defensive linemen. 9 defensive linemen, pretty good. I thought it might even go up to 10 with the injuries that were happening to that unit. I thought they might get a little spooked and do that, but they didn't. So last one, Jeff Smith. What do you think of that? I got to tell you, square. I thought Vincent Smith would be the Smith that stayed on the 53. But guys, you got to look at what they've been doing with Vincent Smith. It's the easiest way to say it, while it won't be exactly like this, the easiest way to say it is that they're going to make him our next Brad Smith. That's what they're going to make him. He was a quarterback in college. Oddly, ironically, interestingly, he wears the same number as Brad Smith. He's got the same last name as Brad Smith. He's got a similar skill set to Brad Smith. Fast, straight line runner, big long strides, the whole thing, and can throw the ball. And that wildcat-esque jet sweep kind of guy, that's what they've been doing with him in the preseason. And it looks like that value superseded the value that Vincent Smith could bring just as a wide receiver. And Vincent Smith has skills as well, but they chose to keep Berrios. They kept 7 wide receivers. A lot of people were thinking they were only going to keep 6. I thought they would keep 7, but I thought it would be Vincent Smith over Jeff Smith. And there you go. You think you know a team Now, our practice squad looks like this. And don't forget, we can have 16 players on the practice squad. 16. Currently, we only have 13. By the time I release this, maybe we'll fill it up. But it's interesting that we kept 3 spots vacant. I'm not sure why. Especially with letting guys like Lawrence Cager and some others go. Like they're leaving Lawrence Cager out there. I thought they would maybe keep him on the practice squad, see if he can stay healthy in that area, and then if he can, then you can consider him for a roster spot later, because the guy has proven that he does not stay healthy for a whole season. That's proven. He has been unable to do that yet. Now, can he? We don't know. But I thought they would try that from the practice squad, but it shows they don't really have much intention of keeping him at all, at developing him at all, because they still have spots on the practice squad and they left him out there for this long. So our practice squad looks like this. We brought back quarterback Josh Johnson. I think that was a good move. I do think they would have brought back James Morgan if he wasn't poached. We'll talk about that in a second. But Josh Johnson being around the team, I think, is good. If Mike White is struggling, anything like that, you can make the decision real quickly, bring him up, and nobody's going to grab him. He's just good to have around, very experienced and everything. Running back Josh Adams, that I mentioned before. Wide receiver Vincent Smith as well. We also kept wide receiver DJ Montgomery, tight end Kenny Yeboah, who you guys know I'm a big fan of. Offensive lineman Jimmy Murray. Offensive lineman Grant Herman's another one that really played decently in the preseason. Has a lot of potential. Grant Herman's has a lot of potential. Offensive lineman Isaiah Williams, another one. We had a nice young core of developmental guys there, and I love it. Just developing that pipeline from the ground floor up, man. Let's bring in guys that can start. Let's bring in guys that can be reserved. Let's develop guys on the practice squad. Let's just offensive line. We want these guys to know this system. I love it. So then we got, like I said, the only cornerback on the practice squad is Lamar Jackson. Then we get, we have our edge rusher Ronald Blair, one of Salah's favorites. We have edge rusher Hamilcar Rashid. Then we have linebacker Delshawn Phillips and defensive tackle Tanzel Smart. A few guys I thought might be there. Now, we have 3 spots. So what does that mean? You think they're going to look for guys to plug in on those 3 spots in the practice squad? Or are there guys that made the roster, maybe a Jonathan Marshall, maybe a Nathan Shepard, that as soon as they bring in one of these guys that either they're trading for or maybe they're negotiating with McKinney, so something like that, then they would push Jonathan Marshall or whoever else back to the practice squad. So they're leaving those spots open. I don't love it because you can still plug those spots in and then just cut the guy when he comes in. Maybe they don't want to play with guys' emotions. I don't know. But I do think it's interesting that we still have 3 available spots on this team. 3. That's not 1. It's 3, man. Bring in some dudes. Here's what I see. I see a linebacker. I see an edge rusher. I see a tight end. That's what I see. That's what I see coming. Maybe they're keeping it open for when James Morgan gets cut from the Panthers after week 1. Maybe they want him back. I don't know. Bastard. He's turned state's evidence over there. He's over there. They're just sitting down with him. They're just tearing him open. What can you tell us? Here's $50,000. Tell us their secrets. We want every single edge that we can. Now, the most interesting thing is when Salah was asked about that. What do you think of James Morgan going down there kind of spilling the beans? He said, I don't know if we would ever do that. That's not who we are. Doesn't that make you feel good? Now, I'm not opposed to trying to capture every single advantage that you can. I'm okay with that. But if our regime is kind of at a certain level, like, look, dude, we don't need to go hear your secrets. We're going to kick your ass. We're going to go out there. We've done our studying. We know what you're bringing. We know how you function. We've done our work. We're going to go out there and we feel we're going to beat you. I don't need to film your practices. I don't need to hire your guys and squeeze them for all that he can, all the intel that he can give me. That's what Matt Rule's doing. You want to know why Matt Rule's doing that? Matt Rule's desperate. Now, Matt Rule might have a championship team on his hands. I don't know. But let me tell you, this first little chunk for him has not gone well. It's not gone well, man. He's on his 3rd quarterback and a A guy that's not necessarily a lock to be great for them. So he's taking some major risks. He needs every advantage that he can. It's fine. But I do like that Robert Saleh said, I don't think we'd ever do that. It's not who we are. Joe Douglas was asked about it. He said, it happened with Davis Webb too last year or 2 years ago. He goes, it's part of the deal. Who cares? It is what it is. So the Jets are certainly not making a big deal about it. They evaluated the risk to reward when they made the move. Had to make the move. That's what they did. So let's do this. Let's do a little bit of prediction action. Here's what I think is going to happen. Game 1, Carolina. You ready? I think you're going to like it. I refuse to go into the season predicting a loss. Ain't doing it. I know guys say, I like to be more real. I don't care. That's me. I don't give a damn about realistic schmealistic. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be borderline realistic, but I'm going to tell you, man, I'm positive. I'm feeling good. I'm rooting for my team. I'm not going into week 1 thinking we're going to lose. Hell no. So first prediction is we're going to win this game. We're going to start this season 1-0. Going into our home opener, bringing the Patriots into MetLife with an absolutely rabid New York Jets fan base like we have not seen in MetLife in years. Not even 2015 is going to touch what we are now. Coming into MetLife 1-0 is going to be amazing. I will be there. I'll be hanging out with O'Leary and Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7, and we're going to be over at Gotham City's tailgate for a while. We're going to be at Jetnation's tailgate for a while. We're going to be bebopping around saying hello to as many of you guys as we can. I hope to meet every single one of you. That's what I hope. But it's going to be madness because we're starting 1-0. And the reason we're going to be 1-0 is because our offense is going to look better than their offense. Not because of the defenses or anything like that. Our offense is going to be a little bit more well-oiled. Zach Wilson is going to be a little bit better than Sam Darnold. Zach Wilson is going to go 24 for 30. He's going to throw for 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, and we're going to have 1 touchdown running and a couple Matt Amendola field goals. What's going on over here? I don't know what's happening. 3 Matt Amendola females. All right, so we're going to have a couple field goals, 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 touchdown on the ground, 2 Matt Amendola females. So that's 21-6. What's that? That's 27-14. They're going to have 1 touchdown in the air, 1 touchdown on the ground, both to the same person. That's the way it's going to go. It's going to be McCaffrey all day. He's going to have 14 points, so 27-14 New York Jets. That's how it's going to go. Elijah Moore is going to catch a bunch of balls. Corey Davis will be the premier receiver. 114 yards, 1 touchdown. The other touchdown will go to Tyler Kroft. That's how I see it. Our defense is going to be, they're going to get some yards on us, man. But they're going to be unable to seal the deal, not because of anything we're doing in our young defensive secondary, but because Sam Darnold's confused. Sam Darnold doesn't, he's just a little off. He's a little bit too excited. He wants to beat us real bad. He wants to show the world. He's not going to look terrible, but he's not going to do enough. He's going to throw it into the feet. He's going to sail them over their heads. All those kinds of things. All the while throwing for 240 yards. He's going to do all that. But they're going to put a lot on him. They're going to put a lot on him. And it's going to be too much. That's how I see it. Our defensive backs, Brandon Echols will have 1 pick. Bryce Hall will have 4 passes defense. All kinds of good stuff. 3 sacks. 1 from Shaq Lawson. 1 from Bryce Huff. 1 from Quinnen Williams. That's how it's going to go. Yeah, that's how it's going to go. Jets, that's how it's going to go. Jets. That's what's up. So what do you think of that? Now, I want to tell you, this could go the other way. It could go the other way, but it's not going to. And you want to know why? Because we got men running this place. We got secure men running this place. We have guys with 0 job security fear. Our guys are going to be secure, confident, They're ready to go in there and punch them square in their face. McCaffrey's an issue. I'd hate to see a bunch of bombs to Robbie. I hate it. It's got to cover him. Marcus May, dude, you got to give help over the top. It's that simple. You know what they're going to try to do. Let LaMarcus Joyner take care, and Mosley take care of McCaffrey and underneath. Don't worry about it. You worry about Robbie over the top. That's what you do. Okay? So anyway, guys, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a great mother effing time. We are. It's going to be good. I hope you're having a great Jets week. Enjoy this last week before the bedlam. Before it hits, it's going to be madness. Jets fans are going to overreact on either side. We win, we're going to the Super Bowl. We lose, we suck, and we were always going to suck. Joe Douglas needs to get fired. You'll see. It's going to be either way. I'm ready for both, but I know what's going to happen. We're winning. Want to know, New York Jets, when I meet you guys, we're going to be 1-0 hosting the Patriots with a rookie quarterback for the first time in forever without Gilmore. But, dude, they're ripe. Now's the time you want them. They're still going to be good. I'm just saying, I'd rather have them now than later when they gel. So, with that all said, don't forget we do the live watch parties every week on Jetnation's YouTube. If you're not getting enough Jets talk, don't forget to head over to Jetnation.com and get in the conversation in their forums. But every single game, we hang out together on Jetnation's YouTube. We have a blast. It's a good time. We watch the game together, man, through the internet. It's fantastic. So don't forget Full-Time Coaster Tour. Give me a sub over there. I'm close, guys. I'm close. I want to get to this threshold. I'm close. Just go over there, hit that sub button. Don't forget to like and subscribe right here. Right here. You can support this channel on my Patreon. All the information is in the description. I greatly appreciate all of your support. You're the best fans in the business from my perspective. I just love hanging with you. And with that all said, go Jets.